and welcome to Cookin in the Kitchen with Boomchang Records on DC Coast to Coast. Today we have some special guests all the way from America, and they're over here travelling doing some shows, and they've popped into the kitchen. Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
And what's the name of the band?
Skiffledog.
And you are?
Hilton Valentine.
Well, welcome, Hilton, all the way to the kitchen.
Cheers.
Really good to have you in here today. Excellent. I would love to know a little bit about your history and what you've done in the past music-wise, because I believe you've got quite a catalogue of events that you've done over the years.
Aye. Yeah, well, what was the question?
Question is, how did you start out in music?
Okay. Well, my brother had a record player back in 1952, 53. And that was the first time I was listening to some rock and roll, Bill Haley and Gene Vincent and all that.
Yeah.
And I played, pestered my mother to get her a guitar, so I eventually got one.
Right.
Mail order, took it, from the newspaper, it came in a cardboard box. And I started playing then. I formed a band called the Heppers, which is out and out skiffle band.
This is based in Newcastle, though, right?
No Shields.
No Shields, excellent, yeah.
So then that morphed into a rock and roll band called Wildcats.
Yeah.
And then I got poached by the Alan Price Combo.
Really? All right.
Which later became the Animals. And the rest is pretty much history.
And you moved on from there?
Yeah.
Excellent. So obviously all of that process, you learned guitar playing, you got into the band. How did the Animals actually take off? Were you quite popular in the Northeast first, or what happened?
Yeah, we were very popular in the Northeast. We played at the Club of Go-Go, the Downbeat, a place in South Shields. And what happened was our manager, Mike Jeffrey, who owned the Club of Go-Go in Newcastle, he made arrangements to get the Yardbirds to come up and play a week at the Club of Go-Go in Newcastle, and we took over the Yardbird gigs in London. And then while we were in London, people came, and they liked it, and we got a record deal, and we got an agent to do our own gigs.
It seemed to be a good system in them days for bands travelling around. It seemed to be quite well put in place by the management structures of how they shared. I mean, a colleague of yours, Chaz Chandler, I know with one of his bands up here, he put them into a venue for a month where they played in the morning and they played at night for a solid month on the basis that people could always come and see them and they were always available. And I thought it was a great system to play. Yeah. And also from being a musician, it's great to be able to play that many times.
Right. And
good opportunity. I mean, in that season, you must have done quite a few spots in the night, I would have imagined, did you?
Oh, yeah. And sometimes we were doing doublers, starting at 7, finishing about 9, and packing up, moving on to an all-nighter gig.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, my first recollection or my first hearing of the Animals, like I'm obviously a bit younger, but I do remember listening to that, and there was a very specific sound on House the Rising Sun of your guitar part. So I'm quite pleased that you're in the kitchen today. I mean, would you mind just playing us a little bit of that, or do you not play that so much? Or?
Oh, I played quite a lot.
Yeah.
Mary's a house. That's the Bob Dylan version.
Yeah. What a great song. I mean, it's been on so many movies and things like that, hasn't it?
Yes, it's done well.
Worldwide. A little bit about the recording aspect of that. I hear it was quite recorded very quickly. Can you just tell us how that came about?
Yeah, we were on tour and we were playing in, I think it was Blackpool, and then the next gig was on the Isle of Wight. Right. So we drove down to London, got there 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, went in the studio, recorded about an hour and a half of material. About an album and a half of material.
An album and a half of material?
Yeah, including House of the Rising Sun, which was actually done in one take.
That's incredible. Yeah. Because it sounds amazing, doesn't it? And to me, it sounds amazing. I love it. Yeah.
Then we finished the session, got back, loaded back onto the van, and drove down to, I don't know, Brighton or Plymouth or wherever they get the ferry to go over to the Isle of Wight to do the gig that night. So,
but you see, that was the secret. Bands sounded good acoustically enough. The source sound was always good enough to be recorded at that way. There was no overdubs, there was no,
Oh, yeah, it wasn't acoustic, though. It was live.
I understand, but I mean the acoustics of it, the actual sonic sound originally.
Yeah. That was all sorted out before we actually
Exactly.
went into recording mode.
That's
got
right.
everything right. And
And Mickey Most was the producer on that session.
he was,
Yeah.
yes.
How
Yeah.
did you find working with Mickey?
He was pretty good, you know. I think his forte was picking material. The arrangement we had with him was that he would pick bring in songs for the singles,
Yeah.
except Rise and Sun,
Yeah.
and we would have our own choice of what we wanted to play on albums.
Right.
Yeah,
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, do you fancy playing a song for us today?
sure. Yeah.
Which one's this going to be?
Well, this is going back to my early days. This is a song I learned from Ronnie Donegan. He didn't write it, but he played it.
Yeah.
And it's called Digging My Potatoes.
Oh, well, take it away when you're ready, guys.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. I love you in the winter, I love you in the fall, but in between them bedclothes, I love you best of all. Somebody's digging my potatoes, trampling on my vine. Oh, I had that worried feeling resting on my mind. I crept up to the window, I thought I heard a moan. I heard somebody say, ooh Lord, you're sucking my sweet bones. Somebody's digging my potatoes, trampling on my vine. Oh, I had that worried feeling resting on my mind. I crept up to the window, I thought I heard a whine. I heard somebody say, oh Lord, get off you dirty swine. Somebody's digging my potatoes, trampling on my vine. Oh, I had that worried feeling resting on my mind. Now your vine is green, my potatoes red. I thought you was my friend till I caught you in my bed. Somebody's digging my potatoes, trampling on my vine. Oh, I had that worried feeling resting on my mind. Yeah, I had that worried feeling resting on my mind.
Come on, man. It's got plenty of energy in that mind, hasn't it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Great bit of fun. So, that's where you started, the
Yeah.
skiffle stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, and then you've moved into rock and you've come back full circle almost, is that right?
That's
Or-
right, yeah.
Excellent.
Come back to what I started with and really enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, well, it definitely shows that you're enjoying it. The
Thank
bands
you.
are grooving along actually lovely there.
Yeah.
And spoons as well, what an interesting tool that is. Do you want to just show us a little bit of that? It's actually 2 individual spoons and you put it together. How does that sound and how does that work out?
Roger's silver plate. Gotta make sure that they don't get too close, otherwise you don't get any snap out of it.
Yeah. Well, it certainly helps to tie along. And you're using the skiffle board. Let's just bring that in here and let's have a little look at that.
That's how we get our washing done when we're on the road.
I mean, skiffle board. It's a
Well,
washboard,
it's a
right?
washboard.
Yeah, of course it is, yeah.
And this one actually belongs to Hilton's original washboard player, Peter Elsden. He
Right.
let me borrow it, so I didn't
Excellent.
have to pack mine.
And what's them on your fingers? What's that all about?
Thimbles?
Thimbles?
Yeah,
Like sewing
that's
thimbles?
how
Sewing
you.
thimbles, yeah.
Yeah, that's how
Wow.
you play it traditionally. So
Okay, give me a little example of that sound there. I mean, we would have heard it in the song, just so people can hear it at home.
I mean, it would have been all metal ones,
Right.
back in the day. But most of them are plastic now. But I use plastic in a smaller thing, so like my pointer finger is louder, so this one doesn't move as much. But it just kind of helps control sound. You wouldn't think there'd be that much involved in it,
No,
but it really
but-
is. But
That's good, but that drives a lot of the rhythm along, right?
Yeah.
So it's quite fundamental. Excellent. Well, what I want to do in the second half, I'd like to go a bit more in depth and talk a bit about the recording process and talk a little bit more about your music that you've done over the years, where you've been and what you've enjoyed. And look forward to hearing some more songs. You got a couple of more songs in the second set for us?
Sure.
What are you going to give us a little indication what they might be?
One of them's going to be Rockin' Daddy, and it goes a bit like this.
Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing that song. Stay tuned. Cooking in the Kitchen Part 2. Don't go away. See you soon.